What's up, guys? 370 Gaming here, and I have another attempt at a commentary video, so please do bear with me, as in the early stages of these commentary videos, they're going to be very poor in quality, but I'm working on it. The more I do them, the better I'll become, so keep that in mind. Today, this commentary video specifically is about professional wrestling and being a fan of professional wrestling. I want to take you back to the day where I uploaded the State of the 370 Universe video, and kind of where my head was at the time. I certainly, absolutely 100% do want to branch out in YouTube, and I want to be a fuller, more enriched person in life in general, you know, with the reading, with the getting out more, with the doing more types of things, with different hobbies, etc., etc. But that, I don't think, was the main force, because had that been the main force my whole life, I probably wouldn't have been doing a 24/7 wrestling YouTube the whole time, you know what I mean? The main drive behind those videos, behind this whole attitude change, was I had become disenchanted as a wrestling fan. And I don't mean disenchanted as a WWE fan, I mean disenchanted as a professional wrestling fan. It's hard for me to explain, to kind of, get it together. I've done a couple takes of this, so please bear with me as I try to work out words in my head, bring them to my mouth. Uh, there's many times, right? I love, like, Ring of Honor, okay? I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. I love all these different companies. When they're not doing shows, when there's not prevalent weekly television shows, when there's downtime in these companies, WWE is still there. WWE is completely monopolized in American wrestling, in American television. It's everywhere, man. It's all there's so much WWE everywhere that during down periods in other companies, it starts to become the only prevalent sense of wrestling that you know of, right? Everything you go to, if you go to Reddit, if you go to Twitter, if you go to Facebook, if you go, wherever you go, if you're into professional wrestling, 9 out of 10 times you're going to see a WWE headline. You're going to see something from WWE. And when that gets to the point of that's all there is, and they're putting out this product, and whatever, I don't like it, okay, whatever, it started to get to me. And I was like, I'm not having fun with this anymore. And I was really bummed out because I love wrestling, and I love doing wrestling type of content, and I love thinking about wrestling, watching wrestling. It's just, it's all that's been in my life, you know what I mean? It's always been in my life. And for me to feel truly like I should just move on, I should just stop this, you know what I mean? Like, I was never going to stop, like, TEW content or whatever. Like, that was always going to be there as a fun thing for me to do, a fun thing for me to think about, a fun piece of content to make for you guys. But it was never... I had moved on in my head. I was like, alright, I'm just not going to watch this anymore. I'm not going to watch the pay-per-views. I'm not going to watch the weekly shows. I'm not going to think about WWE or whatever. You know what I mean? And I had always intended on watching Wrestle Kingdom. I'd always intended on watching New Year's Dash, I never thought I was going to permanently stop watching all kinds of wrestling, but when you do kind of make that decision that your everyday, I'm watching wrestling, I'm doing wrestling things, that kind of mindset stops, it kind of bums you out, because you're like, what have I been doing for the past so many years? I love watching it, I love, doing things with it, but it's not making me as happy as it used to, and that sucks. That sucks to realize, you know what I mean? And kind of making that transition via YouTube was kind of the final nail in the coffin. Like, I don't want this dominating my life anymore. You know what I mean? And that sucked. That sucked to realize that. So, come Wrestle Kingdom 11, I watched with my boy Tom, who you all know, we've had on streams and things like that. We were watching Wrestle Kingdom 11. I thought, alright, cool, this will be a fun day. This will be a fun time. And the whole show, I thought, was pretty great. Obviously, the first half weaker than the second half, but this isn't to get into that. The last 4 matches of the show were just, like, mind-blowing. And the final, in my opinion, Kenny Omega, Okada, for the IWGP belt was just like blow away. And I've stayed away from like other podcasts and other articles and things like that. I've heard Dave Meltzer thinks very, very highly of that match, and most people do. And during that match, I kind of got that spark back. You know, I always loved, like for example, Naito Tanahashi. I always loved Naito. I always loved Los Ingobernables. I always loved the whole gimmick, but I just thought, well, you know, all right, you know, whenever I see a Los clip or something, like I'll watch it, but I'm still not really into wrestling. Like it's cool, but I'm just like not feeling it, you know? And during Okada Omega, I kind of got it back. Like I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. And that sounds stupid, right? Like why? Like oh, you weren't gonna watch wrestling or something, and then you just wanted to move on, and now you watched a match. Like yeah, like during that match, I think you know, cause when you say like okay, something, this is real, this is fake, whatever, right? You can't, saying wrestling is fake, saying wrestling is a work, implying that you can't get into a story, implying that you can't get into a match, implying you can't feel emotions via a match is just ludicrous. It's just absolutely, why would you say something like that? Because if you're truly a wrestling fan and you like to watch it other than to bury it, you're always going to have that part of the emotional side, whether it's a momentary lapse in like, oh, you know, he's gonna fucking kill him, you know what I mean? Or when the spots were getting so out of hand in that Omega Okada match where you thought, dude, he just landed on his fucking head. I mean, he's gonna be paralyzed. What the hell's gonna happen? Either way, I think it really played on the emotions of everybody, and to me, it kind of recaptured that spark as a wrestling fan. Like this is why I liked watching wrestling. This is it, you know? This is what I watch it for. It's to feel this way. It's to have that joy and have that sense of this is the art I like to watch. I like to take part in. I like to have thoughts about. I like to, you know what I mean? This is what I want to be involved with. And as a fan, it was so nice to feel. It was so nice to feel that way again. Sometime before the show, I had watched Progress Chapter 39, where they crowned a new Progress champion after Mark Haskins got hurt, and it kind of brought me back to the side of, you know, wrestling can be fun again. It kind of brought me back to that old experience, because it was down to the roots. It had good booking, it had good storytelling throughout the show, had good storytelling throughout the main event match, and I really enjoyed myself. But it still hadn't clicked back to me, like, you know, this, you know, like this is what it should be about. You know, it was just like this is good. This is getting me back on track. It hadn't brought me all the way back yet, but that Okada Omega match, that really, it brought it back to me, man. It brought it back to me, and I'm so glad to be a wrestling fan 100% again. I still have no interest in watching like the Royal Rumble or WWE stuff like ever, but these past couple of days with New Japan, it really brought me back to my senses of what wrestling can be, what should be the goals behind it, how you should be doing things, you know what I mean? How a company should be run, and how a story should be told, and what can truly be possible inside of a wrestling ring, man. And as a fan, it was so nice to realize that again. It was so nice, and I you know, I hope you guys felt even half of what I felt from that, because I know I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter. You guys were everybody was tweeting at me about how great everything was, and it was such a good time to be a fan again. It was really nice to just kind of get it back together, you know, as a fan. And that's basically the point of this video. New Japan also announced that they were going to do a G1 special 2-day event in California, somewhere in California, Los Angeles, Long Beach, something like that. I'm going to do my damnedest to go. I know that much, so hopefully I can go to that. And that's about it. I want to ask you guys, if you have watched the video all the way through, give me your thoughts and feelings on the Dome show, the Okada Omega match, and where are you at as a wrestling fan right now? Where are you at? How do you feel about wrestling in its current state? Are you as big of a fan as you were a couple of years ago? Are you a new fan? Are you have you never seen a New Japan show before? And if you haven't, I highly recommend you go check out Wrestle Kingdom 11 at njpwworld.com. It was crazy. It was a crazy show, and it brought me back to my senses as a fan. I still certainly hope to branch out my life into other spheres, but I'm glad that I don't have that sense of disenchantment anymore. That was a shitty feeling to just think that, it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter at this point. Whatever happens, happens. Fucking, wrestling is wrestling. That's life. It's nice to feel not that way anymore. It's nice to get that kind of spark of emotion and joy, pure, absolute joy, back into being a wrestling fan. So I do thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you like the format, if you like the idea, please give it a like, please give me a comment, give me your thoughts, and until next time, I'll talk to you later.